people. Welcome back. This is Scam Artist TV. I'm your host, Paulthewysguy. I'm joined with my fellow Ron. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? How's everything going? I can't call it. You tell me.
Just another week in Scam World. So today we wanted to do a video for this TV show off of BBC called Misfits. It's a really cool show. It's based at this community service center, and it's a bunch of people who've done different things wrong to wind up in this community service center, and they have to do probation. So this storm occurs, and after the storm occurs, all these individuals gain some unique type of powers, and there's no explanation as to how the storm gives people powers or why the storm gives people powers or who gets what power, but here we have our premise, and it's just basically this interesting show about how these individuals deal with these powers and how it impacts their lives. So myself and Ron and some of the other people in the group have been watching this show religiously, and we have, our opinions on it. So we wanted to touch base about that and see if we can kind of break down this show for you. So, Ron, I'll go ahead and let you start and tell me what are your thoughts on Misfits thus far.
Okay, well, so far I've completed 4 seasons of Misfits, and I have one more season to complete, which is the 2013 or the current season that aired. Right. Now, what I think thus far is season 3 was probably the best season. Well, no, not the best season, but it should have been the last season. And it should have pretty much ended there, because with Simon going back into the past, it pretty much closed a lot of questions viewers of the show had. Okay. And it pretty much should have ended right there. The reason why I didn't really enjoy season 4 that much was because of the fact of the new main character that stepped up, which was Rudy, if I'm not mistaken. Rudy. And he also has a ability to clone himself, and his clone is named Nathan, correct?
No. So Rudy's clones, Nathan was the original main character from the very first season. Rudy's clone is called Rudy 2. So
Rudy 2. Okay.
So and it's not really even a clone so much. It's Rudy has multiple personality disorder, and after the storm hit, his multiple personalities split into different ranges. So basically, the very nice person is called Rudy 2. He's the kind, he's the warm-hearted. Rudy is the kind of selfish portion of himself. And as you go on in the show, you find out more about Rudy and his layers, and but he can split into 2. So it's not really cloning. It's kind of like Multiplicity Man, where he becomes more than one of himself, but they each have individual personalities. So
okay, cool. All right. Now here's the thing. Now, when we were introduced to the third Rudy, now where did that come from? The Rudy that came out of prison.
Right. So Rudy, when he initially has split into 3 different individuals, and the very malicious and mean version of him is the one who kind of went on a crime spree, and he ended up. The other 2, they didn't want to deal with him because he was basically bullying them and, kind of goading them into doing things that they didn't want to do and ruining their lives. So Rudy 1, the original, and Rudy 2, conspired against Rudy 3, and they had him sent to prison. So, Rudy 3 is in prison, and that's what happened to him. But you don't find that out until later. So.
Yeah. So now, okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think around the end of season 3, end of season 3, beginning of season 4 is when you start finding out about Rudy 3. Or was it during season 4?
Okay. Now, some of the characters that were also introduced after, the main cast left, we were introduced to the girl that had X-ray vision. We were also introduced to Finn, who has, I guess you could say, telekinesis powers, and then you have this other girl with red hair. I don't know what her power is per se, but she seems pretty cool. But the thing is I'm actually enjoying Finn's character more than I am Rudy's character.
Right. And that's something you had posted on in the group. And here, let me bring everybody up to date on certain things. So in this show, we have these 5 individuals. They remain 5 cast members. And there's Nathan, who's arguably the main character of the show. Simon, who's kind of a shy character. Curtis, who's an athlete. Kelly, who's kind of this, no nonsense, feminist type of character, and Alicia, who is basically this sort of promiscuous girl. She's the eye candy of the show. And during this show, during the storm, they each get their individual powers, and that kind of leads into this story. And they're all brought together and kind of have to come together to help one another. So, as the show progresses, some characters leave the show, some characters die, certain things like that occur. And because of this, we have this situation where, they introduce new characters to the community service center because, this is where people go to serve out their community service. And then you find out that the new people that are introduced also have abilities. So we get introduced to Finn and Rudy, and we find out their powers, and then we get introduced to more characters along the way. I don't want to give too much information away because I don't want to spoil it for everybody, because I really think this is a great show and people should go out and watch it.
Yes.
My thought is, though, to try to sum it up really quickly, the show is very, it deals with the whole superhero, powers and what would happen if people gain superhero powers, in a very interesting way. And to me, it's kind of while the show is very tied to London and the idiosyncrasies and things that are kind of true to London, it doesn't really show you how it would be in the outside world, but it does give you kind of a real life feel to what it would be if you had powers. Because people think, oh, if I had powers, I would just become a superhero, or I would start doing this and that and the third, and that's not how it necessarily works out. You still have to live your normal life. You still have to go about things, and this show kind of deals with that. And it kind of deals with how people who are blessed with powers can make mistakes and hurt people and do things, and real life situations have real life repercussions. So I really So even though I kind of agree with you on in the regard that the show probably should have ended on season 3, because it felt like all of the main characters had reached their full arc. Their story arcs had come to an end, and so I kind of agree with that. And plus, there seemed to be somewhat of a plot hole around season 3 towards the end. So that was a little bit discouraging. But if you're a true fan of the show, you can respect that they continue to go on with the show. And season 4 and season 5 for me was really, really good. Season 5 was probably the best season since season 1 and 2. And I really enjoyed it. Now, season 4 I didn't like as much because they were just going in this different area. They were introducing new characters, but you were kind of, still had a bad taste in your mouth left from the way they removed the original characters. So if you can get past that, you'll be able to enjoy more of the show. So anyway, I'm not sure where they're going to go with this, if they're going to end it with season 5, because it kind of left off on a very they end every season in a very, kind of ambiguous way as will they or won't they come back. So, I definitely recommend you finish up, season 5, Ron, and then, tell me how you feel about that. But, overall, I could see where you're coming from regarding Finn though, too. Finn is an interesting character, but I feel like Finn is very one-dimensional, whereas Rudy is quite literally not one-dimensional. He's very multifaceted, and it shows through the fact that he has these different multiple personalities that come out. And I think where you're at right now in season 4, you don't see as much of that, but when you get to season 5, you really start to see that he has more depth to him as a character. So, I definitely recommend that you go ahead and then give me your opinion about who you like more then, like Finn or Rudy. Cause I think that Rudy, just he just continuously grows as a character. Now, a friend of mine told me that in comparison, like, because people love Nathan and people love Rudy, and there's always this comparison of, you know, Rudy to Nathan because Rudy sort of took Nathan's spot, so to speak. So,
Yes.
But Nathan didn't get as much character development as Rudy, so there is an argument there too. So, anyway, like I said, people, I really think you should give Misfits a go. It's much better than things like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which we discussed last week, and in some regards, it's better than Heroes. Like I would say, season 1 was pretty good. But after that, like, it really fell off. Whereas this show was, like, pretty good for, like, the first 2.5 seasons. And season 3 just ended off kind of rocky. But I felt like it's just a much stronger show. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in regards to Misfits is the possibility of it coming over to have a U.S. version of the TV show. Now, I'm not particularly excited about that thought, but maybe, well, at first I wasn't. But now that I've had some time to think about it, it could actually be better because if they bring it over and they manage to overcome the poor plot hole situations during season 3 and kind of shore up some of the issues around the beginning of season 4, I think this could be a better translation of the show. So, Ryan, what did you think about the possibility of a U.S. version of this show?
Okay. Well, I think that it's a good idea, but here's the thing. In America, there's still a lot of censorship with certain regards. So I think that that's what kind of set the tone for Misfits over in Europe, you know, was the non-censorship. You know, of course, like, they would get naked. There would be a lot of sex and this, that, and the third. And I don't know if we are ready for a show like that in the United States, or if it would be accepted, and what network it would air on.
What about HBO?
Yeah, it could be. But a lot of people, well, I won't say a lot of people, but there are some people who don't have access to HBO. So, you know, some people were saying that it's a cross between Skins and Heroes, and if that's the case, it could possibly air on MTV.
Yeah, I feel like this type of show could be censored and still be done well. Like, I feel like the fact that because BBC doesn't have the same restraints that American networks have, that it was better because they didn't have to hold, you know, it was no holds barred. So I agree with you in that extent. It saddens me that our networks are just so censored and we have, you know, in America things are so taboo. I hate that. But channels like HBO are huge platforms, and then we have the secondary market like Netflix and Amazon and Hulu, where like they don't have the same restraints that like network TV have. They can air those uncensored things. So, you know, a lot of people have gotten into shows like Dexter and gotten into shows like The Sopranos and things like that, or True Blood, that aired on HBO and Showtime through Netflix. So I wouldn't say that there's no opportunity for it, but I think there's also a version of this show that could be done that's more tame and still be done well. So
okay.
Trust me, I was initially against this. Like, when you had mentioned it before in the group, you're like, hey, what if they did it like I was just like, I don't know if I want that, but it could happen. Being Human is one of those shows where they brought it over, and in my opinion, I like the American version better than I like the BBC version. So that's just my opinion. Okay. So then, all right. So now, last thing I want to get from you that we're just catching up on is Misfits. So give a quick, you know, understanding of how you feel about Misfits and what the show is about to you, and the successes and failures of the show.
I like it. I think it's a decent show or whatever. I'm terrible with watching anything. It takes me 17 years to watch one season of anything. So,
where you at with it?
So I really, I'm not completely caught up at all. Like, I think I'm like, in fact, I don't even think the characters changed yet. The cast hasn't changed yet for me. So, yeah. So I'm like,
we're on season 2.
Yeah, exactly. Season 2, matter of fact, like close to the end of season 2 or something like that. But I mean, overall, I think the concept was pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's pretty dope. I think it could have an American audience if they wanted to give like a revamp. I think that could happen.
Right.
I mean, I think with the love for superheroes that we have going on right now, I think it actually could come over here because, I mean, Almost Human, Being Human. What's the one, the UK show with the vampire, the werewolf, and the ghost? Being Human. I mean, that's come over here and has a little bit of success. I mean, I have my gripes about it, but hey, if you haven't seen any of these videos, you know I have my gripes about everything. So, yeah, but overall, I think it's a good show.
So, well, Ron and I were talking about the potential of it having a U.S. version. Now, I'm not looking forward to it having a U.S. version, but the more and more I let it settle in for me, I feel like hopefully we could like overcome some of the plot holes that were created in the show, because there were a few. So, but you haven't made it to those.
I think the problem is that the reason that it might not be successful over here is the same reason. You ever hear the show the In-Betweeners?
Yeah, I've never watched.
It's the same reason that show wasn't a success over here. Like, they came and tried to bring it to MTV, and it like flopped. We don't portray teenagers the way that they portray teenagers on TV. Like in the In-Betweeners, like they were a bunch of kids that didn't give a shit at all. And that's the same thing with Misfits. You got kids that don't give a fuck. You got one that's a complete pervert, you know, and it doesn't necessarily always take off with the American audience. And also anybody that's seen the show, because I think they're trying to bank on that too, because we all know that everybody in America watch BBC, you know, so they're trying to bank on those people who already seen the show to come over and like build the fan base and, you know, get it to be on for a couple of weeks for other people to watch it. So I think we're a little bit more judgmental about the way the characters are portrayed in America, and I think that will potentially be the sink or fall, not necessarily the plot holes.
If you would agree or disagree with anything we had to say, make sure you leave a comment down below. Join the Facebook group, like the Facebook page, get at us, holler at us. We are always willing to conversate. And, if you want to game with us and stuff like that too, we are up for that. So just join the group and then, get at us. So we'll catch you guys later. All right.